Imagine a company almost nobody has heard of. Now imagine this company holds assets worth trillions of dollars. This is not a fictional story. The company is real. It is called Euroclear. It sits at the heart of the global financial system. Most people go about their day without ever thinking about it. But right now, this quiet giant is at the center of a very big debate. It is a debate that pits urgent political needs against the long-term rules of global finance. This tension is creating a difficult choice for governments. They must decide what to do with billions of dollars in frozen assets held at Euroclear. The choice seems simple on the surface. One country has assets frozen in another country's financial system. Using the frozen money seems like a quick and easy solution. However, the world of finance is built on something very fragile: trust. Let's first understand what Euroclear does. Euroclear is like a giant secure post office for money and financial assets. When a big bank buys stocks or a government sells bonds, the assets do not move in a physical truck. Euroclear updates its records. It is a settlement house. It makes sure the buyer gets their assets and the seller gets their money. It handles the final stage of a trade. Think of it as the ultimate bookkeeper for the world's biggest players. Imagine you and a friend trade collectible cards. You swap a rare card for 10 common cards, but you live in different cities. You use a trusted middleman who verifies both sides, then completes the swap. Euroclear does this at a trillion-dollar scale for banks, companies, and countries. Its neutrality is its most important feature. Clients trust it to follow rules, not take sides, just process what is instructed across borders. Now, we must look at what frozen sovereign assets are. They are money and bonds that belong to a country's central bank. When assets are frozen, the owner cannot access them. They cannot be moved or sold or used. They are locked by a legal order where the assets are held. Like a bank lock, you see funds, but cannot withdraw or pay. This is different from typical sanctions. Freezing limits access temporarily. Seizing transfers ownership permanently. In a simple example, country A's money in country B stays titled to A, but cannot be sent home. The point is to apply pressure without military action. The new proposals: take the profits, or even seize the assets for other purposes. That would turn a temporary lock into a permanent confiscation. Crossing from blocking access to taking ownership is a major line in international law and finance. This brings us to the idea of property rights. They define who owns what, and who may use what. Buy a house, and a deed lets you live in it, sell it, or rent it. The same applies to financial assets and the rights they confer. These rights are the unseen foundation of our economy. They enable people to invest, save, and build for the future. Foreign investors commit their money when they believe it will be safe. They must trust that a government will not suddenly take assets. Places with long histories of protection become safe havens and hubs for capital. Seizing sovereign assets sends a powerful message. It suggests property rights can bend to politics. Others, China, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, will take notice and reassess. If rules change for one, they can change for all. Even a small crack in this foundation can erode confidence that took centuries to build. Finance is not just numbers and computers. At its core, it runs on trust, the invisible glue that holds markets together. You deposit money trusting you can get it back. You buy bonds trusting you will be repaid. That trust rests on promises kept and laws enforced. When trust is present, you barely notice it. When it vanishes, everything stops until confidence returns. Loss of confidence can spread like a virus. Rumors alone can spark bank runs and failures. Investors are not greedy. They are managing risk. Using frozen sovereign assets puts that trust under the microscope. Can we still be a neutral guardian? If the answer shifts from yes to maybe, reputational damage can last. When trust weakens, it can trigger capital flight. Investors sell stocks, bonds, and other assets. They change currency and move money to where they feel safer. Like a theater where a few leave, then everyone rushes. Markets stampede too. Currencies can drop and stocks can crash. Seizure risk forces other countries to reassess. Assets once viewed as riskless are repriced. Managers have a duty to protect. They move to perceived safety. Europe needs foreign buyers to fund governments and firms, keeping borrowing costs low and jobs growing. If flows reverse, borrowing costs rise, investment stalls and stability is threatened. Capital flight connects to systemic risk. A problem in one node can cascade through the system. We saw it in 2008 when one failure triggered global uncertainty. Local becomes systemic very fast. Seizing one country's assets might be the first domino. If it triggers outflows, banks face pressure. Bond prices fall, bank balance sheets weaken, credit tightens and growth slows. Because finance is tightly linked, shocks propagate across regions. Minutes, not months, is the timeline. A policy win today could seed tomorrow's instability, a small crack that spreads under pressure. The stakes reach far beyond one country or continent. The post-war order rested on sovereignty and property protection. The dollar's reserve status came from stability and law. Europe seeks similar trust for the euro. This decision is a major test of that ambition. If rules shift for politics, reserve credibility suffers. Countries could move reserves to other currencies or assets like gold. Mistrust can spark parallel financial systems. Fragmentation raises costs, reduces trade, and heightens risk. This is not just for bankers. A less trusting world is poorer, less stable, and less able to solve shared problems. A quiet institution is now at the center of a global debate. We must weigh urgent political needs against financial credibility. This is about property protection, precedent, and trust. Freezing was powerful, seizing would be monumental. The path forward is not clear. There's a strong moral case and pressure to act. It can look like a straightforward solution, but the long-term risks are serious and less visible. Capital can flee, the euro's role can weaken, and systemic risk can rise. Trust, once eroded, returns slowly, if at all. When, if ever, is it right to break a foundational rule to solve a problem of the present?